What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Retro Hoop Collectibles. Pretty excited. We got a Super Bowl matchup locked in for 2022. It's going to be the LA Rams, Cincinnati Bengals, the old school versus the new school, Joey Burrow up against Matt Stafford. It's going to be pretty epic. I'm pretty excited. Man, we had such amazing playoff games to get us to this spot where we're at. But as everybody's excited about, watching the game, the commercials, the halftime show, which I'm pretty pumped about, I wanted to take a look at card prices because I think this is a kind of an interesting setup that we have here with Matt Stafford, being kind of older veteran, Joe Burrow, young kid on the block, right? And, really interested to see kind of what those card prices, what the hobby thinks of in terms of their card value. So we're going to hop on over to my favorite platform, our sponsor, Card Hedge. We're going to take a look at card prices for a couple of cards here. So let's go. Joe Burrow, Prism. All right, here we go. And we're going to throw this in the old comparator. And then we're going 2009 Matthew Stafford. Chrome. There it is right there. All right. PSA 10, Joe Burrow. PSA 10, Matt Stafford, Topps Chrome. Joe Burrow, Panini Prism Base. I think those two cards are kind of comparable, right? I mean, at the time, Topps Chrome was the rookie card to have, right? And then now Panini Prism is the rookie card to have. Both of them in their base configuration. But check this out. It seems like the hobby for a long time, not much volume, obviously. But if I go back a whole year, we can take a look at look at the volume on Joe Burrow since February of last year. About $760 for a PSA 10 base Joe Burrow. But Matt Stafford was getting $1,000 for a PSA 10 rookie card, which is not bad, $1,070. Okay, and then of course as the market kind of cooled off and cooled down, kind of hovered around, hit a low right around here, right around September, of about $380, $350, $360, somewhere around there for a Joe Burrow PSA 10. But Matt Stafford was still getting about $700, $800, $700. But not very many selling, though. Not a lot of people buying old Matty Ice. Is he Matty Ice? Matt Ryan was Matty Ice, wasn't he? I don't know. You guys correct me on that. I could have sworn Matt Stafford was Matty Ice. Anyway, but then we kind of saw a bit of a jump as we started to get into the playoffs and the Rams were kind of getting in there and doing work. Started to see some movement on Mr. Stafford, all the way up to $1,100 for his rookie card, then bumping up to $1,700, $1,600, and then kind of coming back down to a reality right about $1,000 down to the $700, and then hovering right here at about $900 up until this past weekend when it kind of got back up to that $900. But look at Joe Burrow, though. Joe Burrow kind of bouncing around here around 300, and then just as the playoffs kind of got kicked off, just this massive run up. Getting all the way up to $700 last week sales for Joe Burrow. Other one I wanted to look at was the Chrome refractor and then the Prism silver version of each one of those cards. So again, the same situation. We're looking at about a year out. And this is where it gets really interesting because Joe Burrow silver selling for $3,000 this time last year. And it kind of held pretty steady for the most part. Not really much movement, not really much going on. It dipped a little bit in October, as did everything else. And then kind of plateaued around $3,000. Dipped again in December as we were coming out of December. And then again, that run up, that playoff run up, all the way up to a peak price of $4,700. Somebody bought this card for $4,700. And then it's kind of the last sale price was about $4,000. However, Matt Stafford, again, pretty flat. Not much volume. People aren't buying a whole lot of Matt Stafford rookie cards in refractors, PSA 10s. And then just this run up as the playoffs kind of started to kick off, a little bit of a down. And not much movement since then. I'm surprised there was no run up. I would imagine you would see kind of the same run up here, but there wasn't. With Matt Stafford, it just kind of went down a couple. Obviously, a jump in volume, maybe some investors getting in here, and I guess they were hoping for the same kind of run up that Joe Burrow had, but we're just not seeing it, which is interesting. So I don't know. I mean, again, if you took this gamble at the beginning of the year for Joe Burrow, it's not really paying dividends per se. I'm pretty sure if he wins the Super Bowl, it's going to pay some dividends. However, the silver version of Joe Burrow's rookie card, paying out. If you bought it earlier this year at the beginning of the season, as the season kicked off, and then, or even if you bought it like here in the low, like right after Christmas, right around Christmas time. If you bought it right around Christmas time or right as the dip happened at the beginning of the year, you got in at $2,200, and you're probably sitting pretty at about $4,000 right now. So pretty interesting. I think it's looking at these card prices and looking at the players themselves, the veterans versus the rookies or the younger guys. It's really interesting to kind of see how the market really plays, with these players and decides what cards and what players are actually worth investing in the long term. I mean, if you ask me, Joe Burrow is going to be a pretty good, a pretty good quarterback for a pretty long time, but it's unknown at the moment. However, Matthew Stafford has been a relatively serviceable quarterback. I mean, he did some amazing things in Detroit. I mean, where he popped his shoulder out and went out there and threw the touchdown, and I mean, that was just nuts, man. Google that if you haven't seen that. That was an amazing, because he was mic'd up the whole time. It was dope. Anyway, but I just think it's interesting that the how the hobby treats these young prospect guys versus a grizzled veteran like a Matt Stafford. You ask me, you want to know my opinion? I'm kind of rooting for Matthew to get him one. I want Matt Stafford to get him a Super Bowl before Joe Burrow gets him a Super Bowl, before he gets his first. So anyway, it's kind of fun to just watch this kind of stuff and kind of look at it. Again, I'm going to try to do a little bit more of this stuff, as we try to use the Card Hedge platform a little bit more. Again, thank you to our sponsor over at Card Hedge. If you're interested in using this kind of tool with the comparator and all that stuff, hit the link in the description below. They do a free 7-day trial right now, so it's free to try it out. And it's a good tool to have if you're trying to do these types of investments. So anyway, I appreciate you guys watching as always. Again, hit the link if you guys are interested in signing up for Card Hedge, and we'll catch you guys on the next one. Love y'all. Peace.